We at the Writing Center do not encourage you to use secondary sources because you want to try to find the original source if possible. It's much more accurate to find the original source and to read it directly from that source. When you start getting a secondary source, now you've got a middle person who might be interpreting that information or presenting it in a little bit of a different light. And when you read it, then you're getting sort of a different view, a different lens through which you're seeing that information. It's like that child's game. I don't know if any of you ever played the game Telephone, but I like to think of it as that because in this game, you have a line of people, you line up everyone, and the first person whispers a sentence to the second person. The second person then whispers what they heard to the third person, and so on and so forth. By the time you get to the end of the line, the last person says what they thought was the sentence, and it ends up entirely different than what the first person said because you have, 7 people in the middle that messed it up or changed it. So that's why if you can always go to the original source. However, you may have a very rare instance where you do need to use a secondary source and cite it. So let's look at this example of you read about what Ryan and Zimmerelli read in the following book. So perhaps Hewitt is writing the book and she talks about the study that Ryan and Zimmerelli did in 2006. How might you cite this? What would you do? In this case, you would actually cite both of them, but the full citation would be for Hewitt 2010. You would write down the original authors' names, Ryan and Zimmerelli, but notice there's no need for the year because what you're looking for in your in-text citation is what's going to point you to your reference list. In this case, Hewitt 2010 is what's going to be on the reference list. And so that's the information you're going to need in your in-text citation. So here we have Ryan and Zimmerelli. Notice it's an ampersand rather than the word and because it appears in the parentheses. Anything in parentheses and in your reference list require that ampersand symbol. So we have Ryan and Zimmerelli, comma, as cited in Hewitt, comma, 2010. So the only year that's used is with the book that you are actually reading. Like if you are physically reading Hewitt's book, that's the one that you are going to use the year for because Hewitt is then talking about what Ryan and Zimmerelli did or what Ryan and Zimmerelli said. So you might have another example, according to Ryan and Zimmerelli, as cited in Hewitt 2010, and then whatever their research said.